Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm talking all about seasonal allergies. I have a lot of requests for this video, so I'm gonna do seasonal allergies kind of as one video, and then I will do another video on actual like food allergies, although the two kind of come together. I'll try to keep them separate, and that way it's a little bit easier to follow. So I wanna jump on in. Before I do, super quick, my Facebook page for Happy Holistic Life was taken down. Facebook has been kind of monitoring natural pages, so it's gone, unfortunately. So I don't really have a way to reach you guys if you're not following me on Instagram. So if you have an Instagram, my Instagram is in the description box below. You can follow me there. But if not, and you want to kind of keep up to date on even more information outside of YouTube, I do have a blog. If you go to my Holistic Spring website, you will find my blog there, but I will leave the links in the description box below because I do share a lot of really good recipes and articles there as well if you just want some more info and support outside of YouTube. So without further ado, we're just going to jump in and get started. There's a few, I want to start with the causes of allergies or seasonal allergies mainly. The biggest cause is that there's too much histamine in the body. Histamine is produced from a few reasons, so I will get into that shortly. But the biggest thing that's happening is that there is immune dysregulation. So your immune system is coming in contact with a substance, whether it's pollen or pet dander or even grass. Your immune system comes in contact with that substance, which is a harmless substance, but your immune system is very dysregulated or dysfunctional. It sees it as kind of like a threat or an invader, and it secretes antibodies to attack that allergen. So really there's nothing wrong with pollen or grass or even pet dander, but your immune system doesn't know that. It thinks it's bad, so that's why it creates that inflammation anytime you come in contact with it or breathe it in through your respiratory system. So the biggest thing is, well, why is your immune system dysregulated? Everyone is different. There are a lot of causes for it. I'm going to share what I personally believe to be one of the biggest factors, or a pretty common factor among all people. Please remember that this is just my own opinion. So always do your own research if you're looking for more info. But the biggest thing that seems to cause that histamine response or that inflammatory response, the thing that makes your immune system very dysregulated or dysfunctional, is mold overgrowth or fungal overgrowth. One of the biggest things or biggest causes of that histamine response that you get, or histamine overload, is your immune system constantly having to work or fight something that's in the body that makes it very fatigued and dysfunctional. So, well, what is your immune system fighting? It's probably either fighting fungal or mold overgrowth, or it's fighting like candida, something like that, or it's fighting a virus. So maybe you have a chronic viral infection. Could be Epstein-Barr, it could be some sort of retrovirus. It doesn't matter. There's probably some sort of virus component. There could be parasites. You could have chronic parasitic infections, or what we call parasitosis, where your body just has this chronic parasite overgrowth, and that is what is weakening the immune system. If you think about it, every time your immune system has to come in contact with something, so say you have parasites in your colon that are seeping through the leaky gut lining and entering your blood, your immune system comes in contact with that and it secretes inflammation. If this happens all the time, 24/7, thanks to having that intestinal permeability, your immune system will be secreting inflammation chronically. And at some point, like, your immune system cannot keep doing that. At some point it gets very fatigued and dysfunctional, and that's when you start to get what do you call, like, the seasonal allergies. A lot of it does have to do when you kind of go back to your birth, even like if your mother had candida overgrowth, she might have passed that to you, which kind of, you started off life with candida overgrowth, and then it kind of got worse and worse, and that could be what is causing your immune suppression or dysfunctionality. It could be Lyme disease or a virus that you caught at some point growing up. It could be partially inherited. You could already have a genetic disposition to having a little bit of a weaker immune system as well. So there's a lot of reasons why this might come about, but one of the biggest things is that presently your immune system is overworked and you need to calm it down. Something that, aside from like fungal overgrowth or mold overgrowth, would be, and parasites and viruses, would be leaky gut as well. So a lot of times you could be eating really healthy food, but if you're not digesting it well, it's entering your bloodstream through the leaky gut. And again, if your immune system is constantly coming in contact with food chunks, it doesn't recognize it as vitamins, minerals, proteins. It's recognizing it as something foreign. It says, oh, you're an invader, let's attack you. And if this is happening all the time, every time you're eating, your immune system is attacking something, it doesn't get to relax and it becomes very dysfunctional. This is a start of autoimmune, that dysfunctionality. So just to kind of explain a little bit more, in a perfectly healthy person, the only time our immune system should flare up, and I tell this to all my clients too, the only time your immune system should flare up and create inflammation is if you were getting like a cold or a flu, or you cut yourself somewhere. Your immune system would kill that virus that's causing that cold or flu, so it would secrete inflammation, or it would secrete inflammation to heal that wound, but then your immune system should come back down. And this should only flare up, you know, when it needs to, not chronically. But if you have, you know, fungal overgrowth, mold overgrowth, which is usually inoculates the sinuses and the respiratory system, or some sort of chronic viral infection, or you have parasites or something like that, or leaky gut where you have a ton of food entering the bloodstream that your body's not recognizing, it doesn't get to just create inflammation but then come back down. It just creates inflammation, but it keeps creating inflammation because these stuff are in the bloodstream and they're not leaving. So your immune system is constantly fighting something, trying to put out all these little fires in the body. At some point, it just gets so exhausted, so fatigued, it says, okay, I can no longer differentiate between good and bad. Everything seems to be bad, so let's just attack everything that enters the body. And you start getting this chronic inflammatory response. If you breathe in, say you are allergic to dandelions and you breathe in that pollen, your immune system will recognize it. If it creates inflammation or antibodies to create inflammation towards that, it puts a marker on that pollen. So next time you breathe it in again, you have an even stronger response because your immune system remembers it doesn't like it. Pollen is harmless. So what we want to do is get your immune system to wake up, regulate, and realize that pollen is harmless. So we need to get it to re-recognize things that are harmless and things that are truly harmless that we actually want it to target and attack. So I hope this is making sense. Now that you guys have a good understanding of how that works, I want to share with you, first starting with some things that you want to avoid if you have seasonal allergies. And the first thing is dairy. It's very dampening. It can cause a lot more inflammation and more allergies. So I say stay away from dairy altogether. Another thing is caffeine. Caffeine is really hard, specifically coffee. It's really hard on the immune system. It really suppresses it and weakens it. But what it also does is strain our adrenals, and therefore our immune system is lacking in energy. And it also is hard on the kidneys, and our kidneys are what is needed to get all of these inflammatory proteins out of the body. So it kind of has like a bad substance to consume when you have, you know, seasonal allergies. And another thing is sugar. You guys all know sugar is very inflammatory. It suppresses the immune system, and it's something you just want to really limit. And along the lines of sugar is also sugary fruit like bananas, melons, anything like that, but specifically cantaloupe. Most people who have an allergy to pollen have an allergy to cantaloupe, and it's usually related to mold. So if you have mold issues, you'll have a sensitivity to cantaloupe usually. So that's a good sign there that if you eat cantaloupe and you feel like you get like a little bit of a histamine response, it's probably because you have mold overgrowth in the body. And then along the lines of mold, you want to watch your alcohol consumption, because things like beer especially, but also wine, they are fermented, they contain yeast, they contain gluten, well, at least beer would contain gluten, and these create histamine in the body. So you would also get a stronger histamine reaction if you're consuming alcohol. Peanuts are another thing you want to avoid because they kind of hold on to mold as well. And so if you bring them into your body, you'll be bringing more mold. And if you're already sensitive to mold because you have mold in your body or fungal overgrowth, it's just one more trigger for your immune system. More inflammation will be secreted as a result, and you'll get more runny nose and congestion up in your sinuses. One of the last things that you want to avoid, of course, is processed food, because it also is inflammatory. So you already have a ton of inflammation in your body, so let's get rid of some by not bringing it in. Don't eat processed foods, because that's just introducing even more inflammation to the body. So now that we went through some foods to avoid, I want to just jump into, I have my list here so I don't forget anything. I want to jump into foods that you really want to eat. So the first thing is ginger. It's extremely anti-inflammatory. It's great for digestion. It builds up the immune system, so your immune system can start to recognize something harmless like food and pollen, and something actually harmless like a virus or parasite. The next thing you want to do is that's worked really well for a lot of my clients is raw local honey. If you start eating raw local honey before the season of allergies starts, so maybe the spring or the fall, like before that season starts, start eating like a month or two prior, a teaspoon of raw honey a day. Make sure it's local, and then you'll be introducing yourself to these pollen strains so that when that season rolls around, your body's already been introduced to the pollen, it recognizes it, and it shouldn't have that inflammatory response. Sorry, there's a car there. You could also do raw manuka honey. If it's local, it's even better. It's good for the immune system. Another thing that you want to do would be really warming foods, cinnamon, ginger again, raw garlic, cayenne pepper, stuff that really heats up the body because it breaks apart that mucus that's causing the congestion in your sinuses. It's a lot of mucus and dampness. You want to break it up by doing spicy things or warming things. So hot bone broth is great, or hot gelatin. Something else that I absolutely love is drinking hot stinging nettle tea. This is a really good anti-inflammatory for the immune system and also can help with that congestion as well. Probiotics are a must. That's technically a supplement, which we're going to get to last, so I'll save that for there, but probiotics are great. Lots of leafy green vegetables. They will build up the immune system because they give you a lot of minerals. You can blend them in smoothies. You can steam them, like lightly saute them if you want a warm salad, but try to get leafy greens in your diet. Apple cider vinegar is great. This stuff is very anti-inflammatory. It's really good for breaking up mucus, killing some of that bacteria in the colon, so it can really help. And then a couple other fruits. If you're not on a candida type of cleanse, I don't recommend high amounts of this because they are sugary and they can feed mold and other things in the body, but pineapple and papaya are both really anti-inflammatory because there's papain and bromelain, which are enzymes, antihistamine enzymes that will help to break down some of that inflammatory protein that's in the body. So those are really good fruits to have in moderation. Okay, as far as supplements go, my foot is numb now, so I'm just switch positions. As far as supplements go, there's a few that you guys want to consider. Before you even think about what supplements to take, as I mentioned, when you have this histamine intolerance or overload in the body, you have to look at what's causing that. So yes, pollen is an issue, but why does your body have an issue with harmless substances? You got to dig deeper and get to the root cause. The root cause is usually poor drainage in the body, and leaky gut and candida, but the true root cause is usually something that's chronically inflaming your immune system. So something that's in the body chronically would be like candida, mold, parasites, viruses, something that's been there for a while that has made your immune system constantly attack, and be chronically inflamed, that it's now very dysfunctional and can't differentiate between good things and bad things. So you do want to get to the root cause and address that, whether it's a mold cleanse, good liver kidney drainage, whatever that is. But in the meantime, there are a few supplements to help with that inflammation, kind of that will act quickly, I guess. So my first thing is spirulina. You could use chlorella as well, but spirulina is great because it's really high in iron and specific nutrients that will help to build the immune system up and get it to kind of clear some bad things out of the body. The other thing is quercetin and rutin. I talk about these two very often as an antihistamine. I have an antihistamine video as well, and I talk about these two supplements in there. They are great for bringing down that mast cell activation and keeping the histamine levels low in the body. I would do both before you start getting allergies, during your allergies, and after your allergies in supplement form. There's a homeopathic called Allergiplex. I will leave all of these in the description box below, so you'll have links to whatever I can find. Allergiplex is a great homeopathic that you take. You just do like one little tablet a day during that inflammatory state or that sinus congestion, and it should help to kind of clear up some of that allergies. It works really well for most people. Some people find it doesn't do too much, and if it hasn't done much for you, it means there's significant overgrowth of something in your body. Vitamin A is great as well because it's a natural immune builder. Everyone should be on this. I like emulsion, a broken down form of vitamin A, but really any would work. You can get it from carrots and things like that as well. Just make sure you're getting a good amount in your diet daily or through supplements. Zinc is another very powerful immune builder. It's something that you should also be on, especially during allergy season, to build up your immune system and keep it strong and healthy. I talked about stinging nettle tea. That's a very anti-inflammatory tea to drink. It's something that you should take. It's great if you have arthritis or things like that. But the very last supplement would be probiotics. High dose. If you have a lot of probiotics in your colon prior to allergy season, when allergy season comes around, the probiotics will really help keep a lot of that inflammation down, and that will really help to kind of clear out your sinuses and things like that. So highly recommend probiotics before, during, and after allergy season. These are some of the supplements I recommend. There can be quite a few more, but the most important thing is to at some point try to get to the root cause. If you really want to clear up your sinuses, number one, you have to get your immune system to know the difference between something harmless like pollen and something actually harmful like a virus. It can't differentiate between the two if it's dysfunctional, so you have to bring it down, calm it down, reduce that inflammation, and re-regulate the immune system. That takes a lot of time, and one of the first ways to do that is by clearing whatever is chronically inflaming your immune system. So again, virus, mold, fungal overgrowth, or parasites. You can do testing, or you can just try to tackle everything in hopes that you'll clear out your body. That's the computer making that weird noise, sorry. But at some point you want to just clear whatever's bothering your immune system. And so you can start working on leaky gut once you've cleared candida, and that way whatever's in the gut is not entering the bloodstream and triggering the immune system there as well. So there's a lot of layers to this. The supplements I shared are mainly to help give you relief in the meantime, but please address the root cause at some point to help just regulate your body. Once that root cause is addressed, your seasonal allergies will be gone, once you've truly kind of cleared out the body and the sinus pathways from mold overgrowth or fungal overgrowth. So I really hope you guys enjoy. If you have any other questions about seasonal allergies, please leave them in the comments down below. If there's something you didn't quite understand, just ask me the questions down below, and I always respond to everyone when I can. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch it. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and check out my blog in the description box so you can get more recipes and more tips. But I love you all, and we'll chat in my next video. Bye.